aware that the YouTube audience does not know who's talking if the video is not active, so please identify yourself if you're going to comment.
Yes, we got that. Yep.
And you are live.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're live. Okay, good evening, everyone. Um, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, happy February 27. Not the last day of February. I mean, not the day before the last day of February this year. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so I will call there's Barbara, yay. I will call the meeting to order now.
Hello, sorry.
That's okay. Absolutely okay. David, can you do the roll call?
Yeah, I'm taking notes too. I'll do my best to take notes.
Oh, and Jim is taking notes too. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do a roll call. Jim.
Here.
Cynthia.
Here.
Chris is not here yet. David's
No,
here.
Chris is here.
Is she
Chris is
here?
here.
Oh,
I'm here. Yep. Hi, everybody.
hi, Chris. Okay, cool. Lynn.
Here.
Shelly.
That's here.
Joan.
Here.
And Barbara.
Here.
I think that's all, right?
Yep, that's everybody.
All right, we're here.
We're all here. Yay. Thank you all so much. And thank you to our to Mark, who's doing our the audio visual tonight. We really appreciate it. I am going to ask for approval of the agenda.
I have some amendments to the agenda, but it may just be smoother if when we come to the item, I'll raise the issue.
No, if you're going to amend the agenda, we have to amend it now.
Okay, well, you introduced, one of the items was that roll call to introduce the new members.
Okay.
I'll just run through them and you can tell me what you want to do with them. Murals Subcommittee, we have a maintenance report. That would be item II. And under public outreach, I added, we need to update the website and lists of board members on the website. That would be II also. And under the budget, are we going to do a vendor report? Or are we going to abandon that?
I don't know what a vendor report is, but
I've sent you one twice already.
okay. Okay. All right.
We'll talk about that at another time.
We can talk about that another time.
Okay.
Okay. We're not going to do a vendor report tonight because we don't have a vendor report, but we do have the financial report.
Okay, but that's related to it. And I do have some concerns about the financial report that we got. But go ahead. We're
okay.
I'm done.
All righty. Let's have Shelly introduce herself, and then we will go around and just do a little snippet for her about each one of us. So welcome, Shelly. Your resume is fabulous. You have tons of experience. Let's tell the general public about it. We're so excited to have you on the board.
I have my resume in front of me. But no, thank you. I've been in the visual arts for over 30 years and in cities across the country, notably New York and Boston and Seattle. And I've exhibited I've produced many exhibitions for the company that I started called Triple Candy, which is still in existence today. And it's I've made exhibitions for galleries and museums across the country and in Europe. I've sat on many adjudication committees, and several of them have been with public art. So I have a lot of experience around looking and thinking about public art in cities and about how art functions in a city, to the best of in a way that is really hopefully good for not just art enthusiasts, but people who are just walking by, passing by, and have a moderate interest in what they're looking at. And that's really important to me, I think, is to try to engage someone who doesn't necessarily have, you know, a background in art. And the Westgate Circle, I think, was the main reason that I approached this position. I think it's very important for the city, and I know that there have been a lot of setbacks, and I understand that, and I think we can get over it. And to have something, really big and beautiful and exemplary of Annapolis, right, when you drive in, is a great, should be a priority, I think, for this committee. And I know it's been hard, but I think that together we can do it, and we'll all be proud of it.
Wow.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you so much. Shelley, is it okay if I share your resume
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
sure.
other
Yeah,
commissioners?
please. Yes.
I will do that immediately following the
Yeah.
meeting. And I'm gonna ask folks, if you are not speaking, can you put yourself on mute? Okay.
Okay. Oh, Peter, I've got
Um,
some weird things.
Alrighty. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the approval of the agenda. Back to the approval of the agenda. We have made 2 amendments to the agenda. We've
Lynn,
added,
can I say one thing? I think, was everyone kind of go around and tell me a little bit
Oh,
about
okay,
themselves?
I'm sorry, I forgot I said
Right,
we would
I
do
just
that.
because I'd like to know.
I did forget I
Okay,
said we
yeah.
would do that. Okay. Krista, why don't you go first?
I'm driving, so I'm going to keep this really short, but I've been on the commission for several years now. I am the commissioner for Ward 5. I have 29 years in federal museums, and I think I'll leave it at that.
Oh,
Welcome.
Thank you. Cynthia?
Yes, welcome, Shelley. And of course, Joan Brady is our other new commissioner. I'm the representative of Ward 7. I'm actually a healthcare provider with a master's of public health, but I have a strong inclination to link both public art and public health, because I think they're really interrelated. So over the time, we've put together the summer concert series and done other projects very successfully. And I welcome you 2 fresh faces to the board, and thank you so much for your energy and fresh blood.
thank you.
Okay, Barbara, I'm sorry. The dog's barking. I'm sorry about the dog.
No worries. Hi, Shelley. Hi, Joan. Welcome again to the committee. My name is Barbara Torian. I represent Ward 4. I've been on the commission since I think 2015 or 2016. It's been so long, I forget. I have a background in art history. I work at the Library of Congress, and I have curated and taken part in different activities in the library for various months: Hispanic Heritage Month, Asian Pacific Islander, and our centennial of the Congressional Research Service. I was in charge of the exhibition and programming.
Great.
Okay, Joan.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Shelley.
Hey, John.
January was my first month.
Yeah.
Jim, I may have seen you the other day at
Oh.
the gallery opening, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you.
Okay.
No, so my background, very diverse. I'm an artist educator. Another lifetime, I was a decorative artist. And then I most recently lived on an island off the coast of Maine for 7 years, where I got to serve on several public-facing commissions, committees, and I really enjoyed that. Felt like I could make some sort of a contribution. And then I returned to Annapolis last year as the Pottery Studio manager for Providence of Maryland, which is an organization in Arnold and a couple of other locations, but they serve adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So I really have become, it's very fulfilling, and I really enjoy bringing the love of the creative process to a whole diverse, different group of people. That's it.
You want me to proceed, Lynn? I can't hear you.
I'm
You're
sorry,
muted.
Jim. I want you to introduce yourself. Yes.
Okay. My name is Jim Martin. For 38 years, I ran a business, but I have been involved in civic activity and political activity in the city of Annapolis for 56 years. My connection to the arts, of course, was through graphic artwork that I did in graphic arts in my business. And I also am the secretary of the board of directors of the Annapolis Arts District. And I am a 2-year member of this board. And I really look forward to your professionalism, Shelley. This will be really a big step for us. Thank you.
You.
Thank you, Jim. David.
Here we go. Hello, Shelley. Welcome to the board. My name is David Arthur, representing Ward 6. I think I've been on this board the longest. I came on board when we were just putting up the Donner statue in Westgate Circle, so that's my tenure. I have a background. I got my degree in graphic design. I'm a photographer, a musician, currently working in the IT field, managing developers. So I'm sort of part of the arts, part of the IT, sort of all over the place. And we welcome you and Joan as well. Thank you all for coming along. We appreciate you being here and look forward to working with you.
Okay, thank you. I thought we welcomed Joan last month, but maybe we didn't. So Joan, welcome. So I'm Lynn Farrow. In my very, very young years, I was a ballerina. I started dancing at about age 2.5. And I stopped around 16 when I fell down a pair of steps, the set of steps in our row house in Baltimore, and sprained both my ankles at the same time. Yippee. But my undergraduate degree is in fashion merchandising. And so I have, I will say this though, I am not talented in the visual arts, but I traced all my design, everything for my design classes. I traced them out of pattern books, but I do have the creative, choosing the fabric and all that. So, and textiles is one of my was one of my big things. I currently work for the state of Maryland at the Department of Transportation. I do external affairs. So basically what I do there is connect the dots for everybody. And I've been on the board, I don't even know, 3 years, I think now. So, but, and I was elected chair in December. And David is our vice chair. We do not have a secretary. We are looking for one. We're not going to do that tonight, but Jim is going to take minutes, and I see David is busily taking minutes. So we'll have minutes for this meeting. I could swear that Joe sent us the minutes for January 30th. But when I went back through my emails, I could not find it, and I couldn't find it on the drive. So we will have to approve those next month. I swore I saw them though. Okay. Oh, yes, Barbara, you have a question.
Yes, thanks. I forwarded you the minutes from our special meeting on the 17th. Those were the only ones that I could find from Joe.
Those were the only ones I could find too. But
okay.
I mean, I swore he had sent them, but I will check in with him because he did take them. So I'll check in with him and see if we can get them. And so we'll just approve them at the next meeting. Okay. So Mark, can you bring our guests forward, please? Okay. All right. Um, thank you all. This evening we have with us Ryan Patterson from the Maryland State Arts Council and Liesl Fenner from the Maryland State Arts Council. I will let them tell you what their roles are there. I had a very nice conversation with them. It's been about 3 weeks ago now. And I think that they could be a great resource for us. Not just in our major projects, but also in our planning and development of the commission. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Ryan and Liesl, and I'm going to make myself mute. But thank you both so much for agreeing to do this.
Pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate the welcome from the full commission and being able to present. My name is Liesl Fenner, and I'm the Director of Public Art at the State of Maryland. And since people are giving little bios, I will mention that I've been in the public art field for over 25 years. Formerly, I actually manage programs nationally at Americans for the Arts. And so I would help communities in developing best practices and policies for programs and projects that they were developing in their communities. And now I do that here across the state of Maryland. So I'll turn over to Ryan.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Great.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having us. So I have had the honor of working with Liesl at the Maryland State Arts Council since 2020. I've lived in the state of Maryland since about 2002, and I've worked in the field since 2007 if we're doing that. But yeah, happy to meet you all, and hopefully we can just kind of share some about our work and be a resource for you all as you conduct yours.
Great. So I think Ryan's going to kick off with the first part of our grants. We have two different types of programs, and we'll let you launch, Ryan.
Yeah, so we just wanted to kind of share the way most of our work happens in the public art across Maryland. That's kind of like the umbrella title for our work, and what we do across the state. So of course, we're at the state level, and so we, like many local arts commissions or public art commissions, are responsible for administering or staffing the commission process for art on public buildings at the state level. So when new or renovated buildings get created, if they meet the eligibility requirement, we manage those commissions. And that's predominantly my role, where most of my time is spent with the public art program right now. And we also have a program for community grants that Liesl can talk a little bit about. We'll go into more detail about both programs.
Yeah, so the grants, we have two types called new artworks, for literally what it says, for new and original artwork that's being created with a community. And we like to honor the artist's time in developing proposals and the community's administration time. And so we award planning grants of up to $10,000 for that planning. If you have a project that's ready to go to be implemented, the artist has been selected, and you have a full design, then you can apply for a project grant of up to $30,000. We want to ensure that all public art in Maryland is being conserved and preserved. And so we started a conservation grant program that again has planning grants to, let's say, hire a conservator to develop a plan or assessment of your collection, and then a project grant for the actual conservation of work. It can also support collections management software. If, let's say, you're trying to develop a database of the works in your collection and keep more records for referencing back how that conservation has taken place.
Thanks, Liesl. And yeah, we're really proud of that. There are very few states that offer grants directly to local nonprofits from the state level, and the conservation grants in particular is something that Maryland does that very few other states are offering. I just wanted to go through a few of our big stories from the artwork commissions over the years. The program's not that old, and so we only have about 7 projects since the most recent passing of the legislation, but we thought we'd highlight a few from our state campuses and facilities. This is In Flight by Volkan Alkanoglu at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And even in an abstract piece like this, I want to point out how this artwork really relates to the site and the work that's going on within the building. So this is an interdisciplinary life sciences building, and the patterns and sort of movement of this was actually influenced by data collected through the type of research happening within this building. A similar project is by Michael Singer Studio and located at the Universities of Shady Grove. And so this is out back of one of the biomedical science buildings. It's a gorgeous building with both an interior exterior component. There's a kind of a water garden that trickles out of the building and flows down into this local stream bed. And then it just beyond the glass wall inside here is a green wall, and there are artwork components integrated into both. The forms and structures, again, kind of reference the research and science work happening within the building. One of our more recent projects, but also a lower budget project of note, is Thomas Sterner, who's a Maryland-based artist, work for the Salisbury Animal Health Laboratory on the Eastern Shore. The state maintains basically 2 health labs that do all of the monitoring for especially the avian agriculture population we have here. And so this basically anything on the Delmarva Peninsula from Delaware down to Northern Virginia, any chicken and poultry farming, and even stuff near over the bridge, anything gets tested and monitored through this facility. So when we hear about an avian flu outbreak, this place is like the first line of defense. And so as a kind of monumental, half roadside attraction, half contemporary art piece marker for this work, Thomas developed this feather of monumental scale. And then to touch on the other kind of work that the center does, he hand carved 17 horses that are located in the conference room. This is a shared facility that's used by everything from the local Boy Scouts to the 4-H program, etc. And a couple pieces we have in development right now are for the new Cadensville Courthouse in West Baltimore County. And again, kind of focusing on the place-based nature. People who end up at a district courthouse usually aren't having a great day. And we really wanted to find a way that artwork could sort of soften that experience, make them kind of think about where they are in the grand scheme of both their life, but also the environment. And Martha Jackson Jarvis, now working with her daughter under Jackson Jarvis Studios, is commissioned to create these large-scale tile mosaics for the lobby area that feature the flora and fauna. We know the Baltimore Oriole, and then these kind of ferns that are going to be found along the Patapsco River Valley. Wesley Clark, an artist from Hyattsville, DC area, is creating this large-scale, like 50-foot-long abstracted painting that shows the Patapsco River Valley and the kind of convergence between nature and the kind of expanding suburban, boundary lines, and the courthouse is located kind of right at that border. It's just like referring back to that, I think you'll see that most of these works, and what we try to encourage any artist we commission to do with state funds, that you're going to try to hit at least 2 or more of these marks, that the works are site responsive and referencing the place they're created and where the people who are viewing it are maybe occupying or coming from. Ideally, but not always, architecturally integrated. So if we can get into a project early enough to make the artwork actually fused into the design components that the architects and engineers are developing, so that you don't necessarily see a standalone piece, but something kind of built into the capital improvement happening at that site. But we always strive for some level of community engagement or audience sort of reaction. And so in our newer projects, we're developing new ways for the audience to maybe interact with polls and give the artist feedback. The piece we see on the right here is really more or less a standalone sculpture, but it was created for the University of Maryland Eastern Shore's School of Pharmacy and Health Professions, and features a family and a kind of caring embrace baby nursing, and it if I zoomed out from that image, you would see botanical plants interwoven into the legs that reference medicinal plants that would have been used by people, early occupants of the Eastern Shore. So always trying to like refer back to site and remind us where we are. And I'm just going to touch a little bit on the kind of process, but we aren't trying to be didactic tonight. We just kind of want to share what we do, and then, you know, again, call on us if it's helpful. But for any of these projects, we develop an artist selection committee for every single project. And we have a commission, like you all are a commission, and we'll try to have 1 to 2 of our representatives from the commission on that committee for the project, along with local stakeholders, representatives from the building where the artwork's located, and other people that have input on that. Our role is staffing and administration, so we don't vote, but we try to like assemble the most diverse team we can to help bring a project together. The methods of selection are your traditional request for qualifications, and sometimes we, if we are kind of short on time, we'll ask somebody to do a request for qualification followed immediately by a proposal for artwork. But we're really proud of this work we've done recently to establish a Maryland public artist roster. I want to be really clear, that's not a roster of only Maryland artists, but it's a pre-approved list of artists that the state of Maryland can pull from for our projects. It's open nationally, just as we want artists from Maryland to work all across the country. We don't want to limit that only artists from Maryland can work in our state. We have just started the first 2 projects with our newly created roster, and it'll reopen again for applications in the summer of 2025. It'll be open every 2 years for new applications, and it's publicly available. I can send a link after this or send it to Lynn, that you all can review it. So if you're looking for an artist or want to do a show or see who's there, you can look for it. And there is a tag for Maryland-based artists. And then just a note that whenever the artist is contracted, it's a lengthy process to go through procurement, but when they are contracted, they enter a contract directly with the agency. So if it's the University System of Maryland, if it's the Department of Health, they're commissioned by them, and then we act as kind of project managers and liaison to the artists throughout that. Sometimes we're the person who has to be tough on the artist, sometimes we're the the advocate for the artist, but that's how the work goes.
All right. So I'll just describe it briefly, our grant program. We do want to have some time here for questions. So as I mentioned earlier, the grants support communities planning, creating public art. This is supporting the administration as well as artist fees and the implementation of actual projects. Next slide. So artwork that is eligible for public art funding must specifically be intended for the public realm. The program is not necessarily for artists creating studio work or work that is intended for a gallery or temporary exhibition. These works are site-specific that have been developed with the community and that are collaborative in nature. And so we are very specific that the work can be temporary or permanent, and it can be indoors or outdoors. So there's quite a lot of options for the artists and how they, choose to work with community and the resulting work that comes out of that process. Next slide. So as I mentioned, our planning grant awards are up to $10,000, and it supports that community engagement process. We, encourage folks to, develop a public art committee, project committee that develops the artwork goals and themes, identifies the location of where the artwork might go. The support can also, go to any software for administering a call to artists. And then, of course, as I mentioned, for actually supporting artist proposal honorariums, which is a key component of public art best practices today. And again, the administration time of overseeing community engagement, which usually a project manager or consultant can offer a project team in the development of a work. I'll also mention our planning grants have been used for public art master plans. There are many communities throughout Maryland, Montgomery County, Frederick, Allegheny, Hagerstown, Salisbury have public art master plans. And this, again, is another tool for thinking comprehensively for how you might like your public art plan to unfold. So our project grants, as I mentioned, are up to $30,000. That's for the actual fabrication of the artwork, its installation, the artist fees, the administration, if there's a project manager or a consultant, as well as any site prep if a foundation needs to be cast or lighting brought in. As I mentioned, the artwork must be fully designed. We require drawings that basically communicate to the panel reviewing the grants that there is strong feasibility that this project could be implemented. So if a project is really only at the concept stage, it would probably not fare well in the very competitive grant program that we have. And also I mentioned that artist must be selected. Sometimes we have a proposal from a community, but they actually haven't selected their artist yet. They have an idea of what they like. And so we ask them to go back to the table, apply for a planning grant to support the planning. Next slide. So Ryan's included some links here to our public art roster. It's certainly available. It's searchable by state. So if, let's say, you wanted to look at Maryland artists, you could pull just a list of those artists. The grant guidelines for what I briefly described here, again, are on our website, as well as I provided office hours, information sessions, and these include how to select an artist, rubrics, how to score, or how we score the grant applications, and that's on our YouTube page. And if you're interested in hosting calls to artists or getting into Q&A discussions with other people across Maryland, we have a public art listserv, and feel free to email me if you'd like to subscribe.
Yeah, and I'll add that, you know, we are always trying to improve our processes and collaborate with people all the time. So we welcome collaboration with your commission. We share notes with other agencies across or other commissions across the state and the region and nationally. So there's the Public Art Exchange, and there's the Mid-Atlantic Public Art Professionals. We're happy to loop you in any of that if you are interested. We just don't want to overwhelm you right now. And then finally, throughout the year, we do rely, this is council-wide for the Maryland State Arts Council, we rely on people to volunteer, not volunteer, you're actually paid to be grant panelists and editors for our program. So definitely check out the ways to get involved page on our website, because we'll post listings there, and you are, again, paid to review grants. There's no better way to see how to make a better grant than to read what other people are submitting. So it's a really good opportunity. You can use this ID to get on our mailing list. But happy to answer questions.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Lots and lots of great information here. I will go around the room. If you have a question, raise your hand. I know Krista can't raise her hand. So I will go to Krista first and ask if she has any questions. I know she couldn't see the presentation. But...
Nope, I don't have any questions, so thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys being here tonight.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay. Jim has his hand up.
Wow, this is great information, and it's going to really help us in the future, I know. Is there a way that we could get a I'm an old printer. Is there a way to get a printed copy of this, or we can link to a web page? Is that how we could do it here? Because this presentation was very good and right on the money with what we need.
Sure, we're happy to send it. I understand the chat's disabled, so I can't just send you a link, but I'm happy to send you a PDF and have it distributed with your minutes or whatever you want. However you
That
want.
would be great. That would be great.
Sure.
All righty, thank you so much. Anyone else have a question? Oh, David, go ahead.
Getting off mute. There we go. Thank you both for your presentation. Just a question, how competitive are these grants?
Well, in our recent grant round, we had 96 applications of totaling $1.6 million, and we have 700,000 to award. So it's about 40% get awarded, which is pretty good, but it's still very competitive. We encourage folks to meet with us when they're applying to really ensure that you're checking all the boxes of what's required to ensure that, you know, what you're asking of the artists, that they submit, you know, again, those like very detailed drawings of exactly how is this going to be fabricated or constructed and installed. You know, thorough budgets, thorough schedules. And of course, this is best for you as an organization or city, you know, planning a project to have all that information in place so that if you are awarded the grant, it's just that your map has been provided. You know, you work that out at the application stage.
Gotcha. We'll have our ducks in a row.
Yeah,
Understood.
exactly.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I do have one question. The grant due dates. So do you all accept grants on a rolling basis, or are there specific due dates
No,
for the planning?
this is
and the-
now an annual grant deadline. We just had it January 26th, so it'll reopen January 2025.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it will probably, the new application itself will open online in late July, early August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so with that QR code that Ryan included, it's great to sign up for a newsletter and then you'll get notified when it goes live.
Perfect. Thank you.
And you said the application gets available around August timeframe?
Yeah, early August, maybe
August.
late July.
All right. Oh, okay.
Oh, and here's our webpage. Yeah.
I thought I'd offer a quick
Okay.
primer on this. So anybody, artists or organizations that are listening, you can go to opportunities, and there's not opportunities for nonprofits or etc. When you arrive on the grant page, the yellow box always has the guidelines at the top, and that's all the kind of rules and regulations. That's always what I tell people to read through first. Get your questions down and then give us a call, and we'll work with your application. And then the deadline's always listed right here.
All righty. Thank you so much. And you are going to share this slide with us as well?
Sure. I mean, I
Okay.
can. Yeah,
Oh, that's just the webpage.
This is
Okay.
the
If the
webpage.
li-
Yep.
You can share the link with us. That would be great.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Thank you
Thanks
guys
for
so
having
much.
us.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so
no,
much.
thank you all so much. I hope that the commissioners feel like this was worthwhile. I think we learned a lot here, and so we thank you, and we will be calling on you again. So this won't be the last time you get to hear from us. You will hear from us again
Great.
before the next round of grants open. So thank you all so much. And I'll be talking to you, Ryan, very soon about another project, right? Cynthia.
Thank you very much. That was an excellent presentation. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Our pleasure.
you.
That's our job.
All right.
So yeah, call us anytime.
All right.
Thank you. Alrighty, take care. All right, let's get back to the agenda here. So I hope you all got something from that. Here's my let me say, my thinking in asking them to come to us is that they will help us by providing technical assistance. I also think that we should think about one of the planning grants, whether we develop a planning grant for a project, or if we develop a planning grant to create a comprehensive public art plan for the city. Like a 3 to 5 year plan, so we know how much money we need to spend, and we have, specific ideas of things that we want to do as a commission. So they would be our projects, basically. So let's, we'll keep thinking about that. We'll keep talking about it. We have some time, but July and August, I think we'll, as soon as that application comes out, we'll hunker down and start writing. So look for that. All righty. Reports from committees. Barbara, I am sorry I misspelled your name.
No worries, but
I
you won't do
corrected
it next time.
I did correct it. Yeah, so I know how to spell it now. So you want to talk a little bit about fine arts, and then a little bit about the email you shared with me earlier.
Sure. Hello, everyone. For those who don't know, I'm in charge of the Poet Laureate Subcommittee. And for Genevieve right now, since she had just recently resigned, going to talk very briefly about the gallery updates that we have. Cynthia and I, who is the other member of the Poet Laureate Subcommittee, are currently working on revamping the program. We had our latest round during the summer, and we just felt like some of the applicants weren't what we really wanted at this time. So we wanted to take a look at some of the things that we had listed for the requirements. And so that's what I've been working on now. And I'm going to try to get that out to Cynthia by the end of this week, so we can go over that and present it at the next meeting. Regarding the gallery updates, Audrey Lee, who's the person that the commission who works with the commission, sets up the galleries at the City Hall and Pip Moyer. And right now for the city, I think we need artists for the July, August, and November, December timeframe. I'm sorry, my dog is sick. If you hear him. And Pip Moyer this March, we have watercolor artist Chris Holmes, who will be exhibiting starting March 1st through April 30th. I noted that he's willing to talk about his work, but he hasn't indicated a time, and I was wondering if that's going to be at the reception, and I could check with Audrey Lee if he's made a decision yet when he wants to hold that, and I will let you guys know. And that's it. That's it for now.
And maybe he'll want to do an artist talk in addition, during the reception.
Yes.
That would be great. That's not something, I don't think that's anything we've ever done before, but that would be great to sort of kick off, the new year. Yeah,
I'll reach out to Chris, and I'll let you guys know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Joan.
Barbara, hi. Quick question regarding what is your process for searching for the artists? I know you have openings for July, August, November, December at City Hall. How do you find those artists?
Well, I just took over the gallery thing from Genevieve. She just resigned last month. So I'm going to check with Audrey Lee. I believe they have a call to artists. Is that correct? You guys on the rest of the commission can let me know. But I believe that there's a call to artists. And then from there, they present, because they've done that in the past. And then we vote like we do with most of the other things regarding funding, and then they get put on the schedule. And we tried to do that many months in advance. And sometimes in this case where we're missing months, either people have dropped off, or, we just weren't able to get people for that specific time frame.
Yeah. So what I'll say is we use the city's website and social media to do the call for artists. Joan, if you have ideas about other ways we can attract artists, and it sounds like we could use the listserv from the Maryland State Arts Council to to recruit artists that are in Anne Arundel County, because I think that we've used local artists for these because they're pretty small exhibits. So
Yeah.
Cynthia and then Jim.
Just to add to what Barbara just gave us, that really great presentation. This past summer, we awarded a poet emeritus to Natalie Loeb. She lives at Bay Woods, and it was very well attended, and they expressed interest at that time in having a program, this late winter, early spring, sort of like a poetry open mic. So I'm working with the Bay Woods community to set up a date and arrange for this poetry open mic.
Great.
So if anybody is interested in participating at one of the other senior communities like Ginger Cove or any of the other retirement communities. So that is an ongoing project, just to give you a bit of an update on that. And once again, thanks.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia. Can you make sure that you share with us the date of that event, so that we maybe can attend if possible? I don't know if I don't know if
sure.
Bay Woods is open to the public again yet, but it would be great if at least a few of us could come. Jim.
We have a wonderful tool that is available to us. We should use our website. And maybe we would have like a what's up page, or, what's coming up or something like that. I know that requires somebody to deal with it, but, maybe we could put a few of these announcements on that kind of thing and begin to generate some interaction with the arts community and the Arts Commission. The other thing, I do have a suggestion of a young poet, but I'll talk to Barbara about that. I'll send her the information. And I like the idea of maybe we should have a poet come to one of our meetings sometime during the year and read their poet or recite their poem to us. And I thought that would be kind of a really neat way to give them a little exposure.
We can do that when we get our poet laureate. We'll have them come.
Yeah, that would be great. That's a great way to start the meeting, set the tone. Joan.
Thank you for that. So please clarify, I think you might have addressed it, but remember a couple months ago, the subcommittee was preparing the application for the poet laureate, and then last month it wasn't ready yet. Is that because now one of the subcommittee members is gone? Where are you in the process of finishing that proposal, or
revamping the documents? Yes, that's part of it. We have the cover letter that goes over the position itself and the requirements, and then we have the actual application process where they submit their work and their resume and samples of their poetry, and then the subcommittee gets together and we look over, as Cynthia knows, we look over it, and we also interview them individually, and we have a discussion afterwards. So we are revamping it because we had some applicants who are a little young. And so one of the things we had decided to do was have a minimum age of 21. So that the poet laureate is an adult, because there's a lot of stipulations, especially working with children, other things like that we want to be cognizant of. And because of that, we're thinking once we onboard the new poet laureate, develop another, maybe a shorter position, such as a youth laureate, so that we have someone who is under 21, but also can work with the poet laureate to expand the community and especially the programmings in school.
Awesome. Thank you, Barbara.
Thanks.
That's a lot
So
of
that's
really
why
hard.
that's why it's taking me a while,
Right.
because this isn't my day job.
Right. It's intensive. And that's what I'll say too, that we're all volunteers, right? And so each of us has other responsibilities that we need to take care of. And so I thank you all. I recognize how much work this is over the last month or so. And I try to come in every evening and do a little bit of art in public places work. Thank you. And on the weekend. So, alrighty. Jim, you want to talk about murals? You had some stuff you wanted to talk about murals. You're on mute.
Thanks. Cynthia and I met with Stuart White, the painter of the mural behind City Hall and next to Hillman Garage. And that was done about 18 years ago, and it's overdue for facelift. He is submitted a proposal to us, which I believe that has been forwarded to you, Lynn. He's talking about a grand total of $9,800, and it would include a complete preparation of the wall and resealing it, repainting much of the mural, and basically, restoring it. And I did some checking. 2 years ago, we voted that each year we would set aside $10,000, and we have now set aside $20,000 in our budget for maintenance. And the last thing that I wanted to mention, Brian Cahalan has talked to me about the Southgate Fountain, and this is a project we might want to work on with the State Arts Council. It probably will involve a conservator or conservation person, and then City Public Works. But I think we could work with, we could develop a push to do that and provide funds at some point in the future. But I just wanted to note that that's in the back burner, which we should soon start. Those are the two things that I really wanted to mention.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
When could we vote or authorize the Stuart White proposal?
When we have the proposal?
Well, I had sent it out to everyone, and I am troubled to
Okay.
get any.
Yeah, why don't you send it just to me, and I'll make sure everyone gets it and we can talk about it next month.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Sure. Cynthia has her hand up. Did you have
yes, just to
question?
backtrack a bit to answer Joan's question concerning the Poet Laureate program. Okay, on the selection committee, Gwen Mansue and the former Poet Laureate Maggie Benshaw. So they're also, reviewing the poems and interviewing candidates. I just wanted to add that. But also, I was hoping William Rao would be here because he was actually involved in the initial selection of the original Poet Laureate and the formation of the selection committee. And I believe with the Office of the Mayor, they have a youth poetry program that they conduct, through with William. I believe he's in charge of that. So I just wanted to add those two things, Joan, just FYI. But since I also could comment and tag on to Jim, I believe Stuart White, who now lives in Easton, he has said, with the weather changing, that as he would like to get started on the project, he has to get the mold and mildew off of the wall and then reseal it. But he was hoping that he could get started on the renovation of the mural somewhat, in early spring. So I just wanted to add that. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So what I will say is that we need a murals subcommittee, or a murals committee chair. So if you like murals have an interest in them, then I would ask that you reach out to me. Here's what I'm gonna say. Um, we I would like for us to have a chair for each committee. A chair and at least one other member, but hopefully two. It would be great if folks who can would serve on more than one committee. David has agreed to take public outreach, so we need a committee chair for grants and one for murals. So Barbara has agreed to take the fine arts committee chair role, and that's wonderful. Here's what I'll say. I think that now is the time for all of us to determine our level of participation with the commission and make a significant commitment to the work that we're going to do. And so I hope that I will be asking for a lot more, I think, than the commission is accustomed to. I will not be chairing every committee. We will have a committee chair. They will make the reports that I would like to have committee meetings. I may attend them. But I want you all to work together to build this program. Okay, so I think we had our grants presentation tonight. So I think we're good there. I have not had a chance to check with the governor's office again about the funding. I think I'm going to wait until after the legislative session is over, but they have committed to finding the money for us to do Westgate Circle. So, Shelley, right. So, the commission committed $50,000, but as we can see now, that $50,000 is going to go quickly, right? And so one of the things I would like to see is for us to do the planning process. So we would need to use some of that $50,000 to do the planning. And then maybe also to pay that same, if we like that consultant, pay that same consultant to work with us to develop a public arts plan for 3 to 5 years over the next 3 to 5 years. So I'll keep you posted as soon as I hear back. But the legislative session ends in April, and I will get right back on the horn with those folks, with the governor's staff to see where the money is going to come from. And I'd made a request that they include us in the supplemental budget, but because it's such a small amount, $250,000, they said they could probably find it someplace in the budget. Jim.
I just wanted to compliment you on the effort that you've done reaching out for a larger amount of money, because we need that if we're going to do it the right thing. And I like the idea of planning this project with more effort and more detail on the part of the whole commission, and also bringing in expertise to help us make sure that we construct our project and all of its ramifications better than we had done before. And we made a good and honest effort, but it didn't work out. And now we really need to, we need to buckle down and do the right things. So I'm excited by what we can do.
Perfect. David, you ready to? Do you have a report for us tonight? I know you just took it over yesterday.
No, I do not have anything to share with you, unfortunately. Sorry, but
Okay.
by next meeting.
Yeah. I did give David first choice since he is our vice chair and he's been on the board the longest. I asked him which committee would he like before we opened it up to before we made the request to other board members. Krista, I see you're taken off mute, so I'm guessing you have something.
Yeah, David and myself were also on outreach, and Genevieve in the past was on outreach as well. And just there was a comment earlier tonight about what we do online and that we should publicize things online, and we do. So announcements about the poet laureate will be on there, and other various announcements are put on the various pages. I also do outreach on one of the local forums that I follow that is a neighborhood forum. So if there's anything up of interest with regards to art in public places, I post on there as well. So what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, we also have
the budget
accounts as well too.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, and here's what I'll say: if all the commissioners, if you all take over the committees, then that'll give me time to work with city staff on things like the website and making sure that our calendar is up to date, and that you know all of our forms are there, and responding to emails and making sure that you all have the information you need on and in a timely manner. So, you know, this is new for me. There wasn't a manual. As a lot of folks say, I'm flying the plane while we're building it. So, but I think we have to commit all of this to writing, and I am going to commit meeting preparation to writing so that I can make sure that I check all the boxes each month. But I think that all of it will be really, really helpful to all of us as we move along.
Lynn,
Jim. Yeah, I'm sorry, Shelley, go ahead.
Go ahead.
would you like it for us to just tell you along the way what committees we want to be in, or is there going to be a portion?
Sure. I mean, if you're ready to tell us, then that would be great.
Well, I guess my first question, I don't want to go off topic, but the Fine Arts Committee, does that include like sculpture, public sculpture, and the Westgate Circle, or will there be something separate for that?
There will be something separate for that.
Okay.
And yeah. So what I'll say is, we have not determined what the process will be moving forward for that project, but I will say that I hope that the commission will start with the community and a community engagement process. But we do need to determine how we're going to do that, right? Are we going to hire a consultant?
Right.
Are we going to do an ad hoc committee? Or, you know, are we going to hire a project manager and we do all the other stuff? But I think that we're going to have to dedicate one entire meeting to mulling all of those options over.
Okay. And so,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just going to say,
This
so
is Krista. I'm gonna jump in right here.
No,
This is
Krista, hang
Krista.
on. You're on the agenda. Krista, you're on the agenda. So let's just
Well,
get
we
through
seem to be going off the agenda.
No,
and now we're talking about the RFQ again.
just hang
I'm not
tight.
sure where we are.
Just hang tight. Okay. Go ahead, Shelley. I'm sorry.
we can go back on the agenda if you want.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that definitely I would, if we're being asked to be on committees and to volunteer, I would say definitely I'd like, if there was a Westgate Circle committee, I would love to be on that. I would also be interested in the murals as well. And then anything that comes up with down at the water. Why am I forgetting what that's called? City Dock.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
All right,
we
yeah.
may need to create a performance committee, but
Exactly.
yeah, because that is a great deal of work. But
Yes. I'm just
and Cynthia's going to talk about that in a little bit.
okay.
But yeah. Okay, so let's see. Oh, the budget. So let me just, I think I can share my screen. Let me pull up the budget report. Let me pull it up here. And then I'm going to go here and share my screen. And here we go. Share. Okay. So you all should be able to see my screen now. Oh, can you see it? Can you see? Oh, can you see it now?
We got you. Well,
I can
Okay.
see it.
You got it now. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I I don't know what I did, but I'm trying to close some other things so that so that it's bigger. All right. And so this is the 2024. Let me make it larger. I think I can zoom. Oh, here it is. Scroll down. Okay. So this is the 2024 summary, budget summary. The amount that is in the city budget for art in public places for the fiscal year 2024 is $264,157. That number is the money is ours. What I will say is that money is, the city will collect that money in hotel user fees, Shelley and Joan. And what'll happen is at the end of the year, if we get to the end of the year, if we get close to the end of the year and the collections aren't, what we expected them to be, or they're more, then we will adjust this amount. But just, it would be minor. The actual expenses thus far this year are $47,675. It says we don't have anything encumbered in requisitions here, but we do want to have $50,000 for Westgate Circle, and correct me if I'm wrong, someone, $50,000 for the summer concert series. Is that correct, David?
Correct.
Okay.
It was 20,000. 20,000 for the summer concert, 20,000 for the maintenance budget, and 50,000 for Westgate Circle.
Okay, 20,000. Okay. Okay, well, we should probably at our next meeting think about spending some more on the summer concert series. All right. So if we adjust that amount, we have about $100,000. It's if we take the 20 for the restoration or maintenance, then we have about $100,000 left to spend between now and July 1st. Because on July 1st, we get another year's worth of funding. One nice thing about our funding is it does roll over. So if we have money left over, we get to spend it in the following year.
That's good.
Okay. So, does anyone have any questions?
Okay, I have a question. In terms, are there sources or resources that have been looked at in the past to get more funding for this committee?
We have not.
Okay.
But it is something that I think we should do. And I have a couple of ideas. I'd love to hear what you think, Shelley. And if anyone else has ideas on how we could raise more funding to help us, increase this number, that would be great. And we can write the grant to the Maryland State Arts Council, for the planning or for a specific project. So, and then we have the County Arts Council as well that gives grants. So there are some places that there are some sources of funds that we have not gone to raise our revenue. The other thing is it would be great if we took advantage of some of the things that are happening around the city, including the changes that are going to happen at City Dock, the new garage, all those kinds of things to maybe help increase some of our revenue. Jim, you have a question.
And what, yeah, that last comment you made was very important. We had a proposal that came, well, it never really got to the commission, but it's been presented about the artwork on the garage. And we were not allowed to really talk about it. But that's water over the dam. Maybe they'll come back and re-enter their proposal. But it still stands from back in August. They made a formal proposal. They filled out an application and wasn't considered. And that's the Art Walk people. I had given Genevieve a budget, but it never went, I mean, a plan for spending based on our relative, sort of our idea of what our revenues were going to be. And it's kind of simple. We have 4 quarters when we receive money.
No, we don't receive money in 4 quarters. That is not true.
Okay, all right.
City
No, I'm not arguing.
The
I'm not
city
arguing.
budget comes out in July. The city allocates a specific amount to us, and we have that money to spend throughout the year. We do not have to wait until those payments are made. That is not how our funding works.
Okay, but my point in this is that if we got a pot of $200,000 and blow it all in a couple months, the balance of the year we can't take many proposals on, so we have to have some kind of a spending plan. And I just thought that would be really an appropriate thing for a budget and finance committee to talk about, and I'd be happy to work with somebody with that.
Okay, so we do need to have a budget and finance committee because we don't have one, and the commission voted unanimously to create one, and so I plan to add that committee. I do plan to do that. Okay, so did somebody else have their hand up? Does anybody else have any questions about the budget? Okay, great. All right, let me go back to the agenda. Really quickly. Okay. Next on the agenda is the discussion about the proposals. So we have proposals from 3 different groups. The Banneker Douglas Museum, the Annapolis Film Festival. For some reason I couldn't open it when I went to open it again. It is in the folder now. Everyone can see it. So and then the Parole Health Center team has given us their rendering. So they applied, the commission reviewed an application in May and at our May meeting and asked that they come back with a rendering, and they have done so. So when we get to that one, I will pull the rendering up so everyone can see it. But the Banneker Douglas Museum proposal is for $13,958 to do a block party, and I think it's 3, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 artist talk events. So the way this works, Shelley and Joan, is we discuss them now to determine if we want them to come next month to make a presentation. And so I will ask if anyone has a motion to move this one forward, or anyone has questions. Cynthia.
Yes, I'd first like to make a motion to approve the Parole Health Center mural project.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Okay,
we're
sorry.
not there yet. Okay, so
I have a question about, are we talking about Banneker Douglas?
Yes, we are talking
because
about
their application asks for $30,000.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. The mural is 13,000. That's why Cynthia was confused.
Okay.
Yes. Their request is for $30,000. I'm sorry. I'm
And,
sorry.
and their request is also includes only 2 artist talks, which I think is weird because I know they brought up having 3 artist talks.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay.
And my concern was maybe, and I'll just say this quickly, is that the art. I think that the entertainment part maybe might be a little more exorbitant. Like for the $15,000 for the entertainment part, and
Okay.
I'm more inclined to like say, let's fund the artist talks.
Right. So we don't make a decision on what we fund.
Oh, okay.
We make a decision tonight on whether we want
Okay.
to consider funding them
Yeah.
and that they would come and make a presentation next month.
Yes, I
So-
see. Yes.
So, do I have
Now
a
they know what we
motion?
like.
Do I have a motion to have them come and present to us next month? Barbara?
Yes, Lynn, I'd like to make a motion to have them come next month and present the Revisit Reimagine proposal.
Second.
And I second that. This is
Okay.
Krista.
Okay, awesome. And we need to do the roll. David, can you do the roll call?
Yes.
We have a question on the floor on whether or not to ask the Banneker Douglas Museum to come to our meeting next month and make a presentation. And I would like to hear from each one of you. We could do it by consensus, but we'll go ahead and do the roll call just because we're
All right.
virtual.
You guys, Jim,
Aye.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Krista,
Aye.
David, I, Lynn,
Aye.
Shelley,
Yes.
Joan,
Aye.
Barbara.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Very good. Thank you all so much. Okay. The Annapolis Film Festival's proposal is for $76,400. Which is a hefty sum. But they have a number of different programs that they include in their budget. And so we could if we could consider funding a portion of it, obviously. But does anyone have any? Let me see if I can pull it up. Hang on a second.
I have a suggestion
Hang on, Jim.
and
Because
a question.
at this point, we're just voting
I understand.
whether or not to have them come and make a presentation. That would be the only consideration we would make at this point.
Well, I just have a question. And you've all pretty much answered it. Can we give them, I mean, is there any way that we can give them a range of money that we're willing to spend? Or can we say that we like a particular item on their proposal? Maybe they could spend a little time on that and not spend the time on the other $70,000 or $58,000. Because those projects are free to the public, but I mean, I thought we would want to focus how much money we're spending with them.
Well,
This is Krista.
go ahead,
Jim,
Barbara.
Jim, can I
Because
just
they
jump in
do
and just
charge,
say
they
that-
do charge for all their events, except for these listed on the
Hey.
back.
Barbara, go ahead.
I think it would be hard to make a decision on any of it without first asking them to come and make a proposal. So, you know,
Okay.
we have to hear from them first. That I think would be the starting point. I don't know if anybody else agrees on that, but I think we have to hear from them first.
Sure.
Yes, I agree. Krista. Barbara, you have your hand up.
Yes, right when Krista was starting to talk, I was going to say the same thing. They've presented before, and I agree. It's always good to hear from them. And if we want to specifically ask them, for example, on page 11, they talked about the student showcase, which they're asking $8,750 for $8,750. We could ask about those specific programs when they do come.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion.
So I
I
move that
second the
we
motion.
invite them.
Krista,
Oh, go ahead, Krista.
I second the motion to have them come present.
Okay. Mr. Vice Chair, could you do the roll call?
Jim,
Aye, or yes, whatever.
Cynthia,
I,
Krista,
Aye.
David, I, Lynn,
Aye,
Shelley,
you're muted.
and you turned off your video. Push
Oh.
all the wrong buttons. Come back to Shelley. Joan,
Aye.
here comes Shelley. You're back.
I feel like it's too soon. I feel like they need to clarify more, but for the sake of the committee, I'll say aye.
Okay. Barbara,
Aye.
motion passes.
The prior to their presentation so that they're prepared to answer those questions.
Okay,
Okay.
right through this stuff.
All right. So we have 2 presentations coming next month, and I am going to share my screen once again and pull up the rendering for
This one.
yes, that one. For the Parole Health Center.
I can hold it up to the camera and you can all see.
No, that's okay. We got it. We got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. So there's the rendering, folks. And the request was for 13,000. That was the amount I had in the very beginning. $13,958. That'll teach me to put the amount on the agenda next time, right? That's a lesson learned. $13,958 for the mural on the side of the Parole Health Center. If you get a chance, I suggest you drive by there. They have a big wall that is just completely blank at the Parole Health Center, and so they want to fill it. Obviously, it is a historic. It does have a history of providing healthcare to families that can't afford treatment other places, and it's been around for a very, very long time. You will see that the photos of each of the people who've worked there, including Mrs. Wright, who is one of my favorite people in the city, in all of the city of Annapolis. And she's a nurse, and she is delightful, and she still works at the center. So I will enter. So they have submitted a proposal. We discussed the proposal at our May meeting. Did they make a presentation at that meeting, David? And then we asked them, no?
No, because they didn't have anything to present.
Okay, so why don't we have them come next month too? If I'll entertain a motion to have them come next month. Just to talk about it, and then we can vote on it after that.
Jim, did you make a motion? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I did.
Okay.
Oh,
second.
All right.
I
All right,
have a question. Is it possible for them to come on another month, or do they have to come next month?
No, they can come next month. Why would we want them to come another month?
Well, I'm not on the agenda yet. That's why I had asked to be put at the beginning of the agenda for the things that I want to talk about for next month.
Well, we're going to
Okay.
talk about your things.
Yeah, we are going to talk about your things, but so
Right, but
next month
part
is
of what I'm going to
hang
propose
on,
has
Krista,
to do with the meetings.
hang on, Krista. Next month is the month that we are required to make our decisions based on the new funding cycle that we developed. And so if we don't have the presentation next month, they would have to wait 3 more months before they could come back
Okay,
and before they
understood,
could be voted on.
understood.
Mhm.
All right,
Okay.
then, thanks.
Joe,
I just want to say also, if you're saying this group has been waiting a long time and then they made their presentation, I feel like we should just follow through with the process, and looks like a lovely mural. So we're
Okay.
all about
Just
art.
didn't have the mural to look at until recently.
yeah, they didn't make a
Yes.
presentation. We didn't have the mural, as David said. So we could just vote on them next month. They don't necessarily have to make a presentation. We can just vote, but we next month is when we would make the decision, I believe. Right, David? Is that correct? Am I saying that right?
I was
Should
under
we
the
make a
impression
motion
that they-
tonight?
I was under the impression they
Should
had
we
been
make a motion tonight
Hold
if
on,
we want to
Krista.
fund them?
Hold on, Krista.
I-
Yeah, I think they have to present.
I think I've heard
Yes,
in the past.
okay, so they have not presented, so they would need to come and present, and then we will make a decision at our next
Lynn,
meeting.
was there a second to my motion?
I second you, Jim.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, so David, you want to do the roll call?
Jim,
Aye.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Aye.
Krista,
Aye.
David, I, Lynn,
Aye.
Shelley,
Yes.
Joan,
Aye.
Barbara.
Aye.
Excellent. Motion passes.
Okay, very good. Thank you all. All right, next on the agenda. Next on the agenda is the summer concert series, new business. Cynthia, you have a few things to share with us?
Yes, I do. I drew up a draft schedule. But first thing we need to do is check with Felicia. She's the has the office of the special events planning, and I've worked with her in the past, and she's always great to work with. But we need to make sure of the dates that we have available for scheduling, because oftentimes there are already dates on the calendar, and they may already be filled. But if you have a calendar in front of you, or you could pull up on your smartphone, May 10th, that would be the first City Dock Tango. May 19th, Sunday. And of course, they always ask for the second Friday of the month. That is their night on Friday for City Dock Tango. Then May 19th, which is the weekend of Armed Services Day, if we can ask our connections with the U.S. Navy Academy Band, they're always a big winner, and hopefully they're not booked for the 19th. On the 26th, the following Sunday, we've done this in the past. It's called Fiera de las Flores, which is a flower festival. It's celebrated mainly it's all over, the Latin American world, but mainly Mexico and Colombia. And we would have the mariachi band with the Colombian dancers in costume. Going into May on Sundays, these are all Sundays. June 2nd, Sunday, that would be the Bayside Big Band. They're very popular, they're very good, and we've worked with them before. A lot of these folks already have been vetted, so that's also a plus. We have a long list of people who have been vetted, just like the Maryland Arts Council for Artists. The following Sunday, which would be June 9th, we want to take note of our sister cities, and Estonia, we have a new relationship as a sister city. They have a really great local Estonian dance and music group. So that would be something I think would be very popular. On the 14th, that Friday, also City Dock Tango. Then the 16th, Sunday, back to Sunday. a gospel group who played at the dock before called Sounds of Joshua. Great group, very popular. The following Sunday would be City Dock Salsa, which is, the salsa instructor teaching the different. There are so many different types of salsa. She gives a good demonstration. She has a team that come and demonstrate the dances. Then on the following, that would be the 30th, following Sunday, that would be Dr. Phil Butts. If you're not familiar with Dr. Phil Butts, he is a music educator. He has been educating musicians for 40 years within the county and the greater Annapolis area. He's a fabulous guy. He's going on 87, and he and his group play big band, and also they have a jazz component. So we would
Cynthia,
ask them back.
Can I stop you there and ask you
Sure.
if you would develop a schedule for, I do have the dates from Felicia, so I will share those
you
with
do?
you. Yes, I
Okay,
do. I do
great.
have the dates. If you could put this in writing, and along with how much each of those acts would cost,
Right.
then we could vote on that maybe next month too.
Okay.
But I think we need to see it. We need to see the dates, the calendar, the diversity
Right.
of the performances, all of that. If we have other dates we can use, like I'm not sure whether they rely on us to do the City Dock performances on 4th of July.
Right.
So
Okay.
let's take a comprehensive look at
Okay.
it and
I
put
do
it
have
in
a
writing.
template. I can
Okay.
plug all this in, and I'll send that out as soon as possible. Do you want me to go through the rest of the ones that I have? Because the hand dancers and line dancers would also be included in the month of July.
Okay.
And also the U.S. Army Band, they also they love to play that venue. And as you know, all of the armed services bands are free. But I would suggest once again that we initiate the Sister City, musicians and dancers, including also Ukraine. We have a new Ukrainian city. And also the, as we said, the hand dancing, the Cars Beach music, music of the era or in the vein of Cars Beach, Elkonia Beach, Sparrows Beach. And then continuing, obviously, there would be 5 City Dock tangos. And I would say, based on the budget from last year, that we just continue at the same rate that we paid the for last
What was
year.
that?
Well, hang on. Let's not, we don't need to consider that right now. We really need to see it in
Okay.
writing. And we also need to know from the artists how much they're going to charge. So their rates may have gone up. Everything is going up. And we're not going to hold people to rates that we've been paying them for 15 years. If their rates have increased. So
Okay.
So let's see it before next month, and
Okay.
then next month we'll vote on it. Okay.
Okay, excellent. And so
you.
the final date would be September 29th. And I was proposing on that Sunday to have a Cars Beach festival. But I think the city already has something like that planned. Is that correct?
I do not know.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll get it in the template and I'll send it off. Thanks a lot for your
Sounds
time.
good. Sounds good. Okay. Old business. Krista, you have, oh, I'm sorry, Roz has her hand up. Hi, Roz.
Hi there. Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Rosalind Johnson, Director of Recreation and Parks. We are planning to do a Cars Beach reunion on June 19th for June 19th. So it's anticipated that will be Wednesday, June 19th. And we're looking at from 3 to 7. And we're tentatively looking to have Motown Review and the Van Dykes. And also to do some activation around people's personal accounts and memories of when they went to Cars, Elkonia, Sparrows Beach.
That's awesome. Thank
Sounds
you.
great.
Rosalind, where's that going to be? I'm sorry. Trying to take notes here.
Wednesday, June 19th, and that will kick off the city's Juneteenth celebration. And we've coordinated with Bishop Coates as well, and the teams to have that be the kickoff. And then the events will be following on Friday and Saturday at Bates and City Dock. Actually, the opposite of that at City Dock and Bates.
So the events at City Dock and Bates, correct? Is that right?
But that's on
Yes, the Friday, I
weekend.
believe, is City Dock, right? And then Saturday is Bates
Gotcha.
for
Cool.
the
Thank
Juneteenth
you.
festival.
Sounds
Awesome.
fantastic.
And
Thank
you all
you.
know that Juneteenth is now a federal holiday, so people will be off on that Wednesday. So it'll be nice for us to have something for people to do from all around the state to come and join us for our celebration.
Some people do, yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Roz. All right,
You're welcome.
Krista.
And Lynn, I apologize. Can I just update on our Black History Month event too that's coming up? Unfortunately, we are sold out, and not really sold because it was a free event. So Recreation and Parks Black History Month event will take place this Thursday at Annapolis Movie Theater number 10. We are showing the movie Origin, which is by Ava DuVernay, and it's based on the book Caste by Isabel Wilkerson, who's the first African-American female to win a Pulitzer in journalism. And it's a very dynamic and just phenomenal movie that's very thought-provoking. And so that will start at, the doors will open at 5:30. The movie will start at 6. At 6:15, anyone who does not show up, their tickets will be forfeited, and at 6:16 we'll be starting to let the waitlisters in right there on the spot. The movie will be over at approximately 8:15, and we will have a panel discussion that will begin at 8:15. On the panel discussion, moderating, we have Delegate Henson, and then we have Nora Diekmeyer, the president of St. John's. We have our very own Carl Snowden, Honorable Carl Snowden, and we have the executive director of the Banneker Douglas, soon to be Tubman Museum, Chanel Compton Johnson. And then we have a new person that we have just added, who is going to speak about the cast part of the movie and kind of enlighten us. And her name is Sonia Kumar. And it will be broadcast on Facebook, on our Facebook page for anyone who cannot come to the movie and would like to listen to and be a part of the panel discussion.
Awesome. Thank you, Roz. Cynthia, you have your hand up. You're on mute.
Is it at the Key Auditorium at St. John's College?
No, it is at the Annapolis Movie Theater, theater number 10. And we started off with 102 seats. We advertised on Friday. We were sold out that Monday. We went to a larger theater, 120 seats, and that quickly was sold out as well.
Awesome.
And it's my favorite price. It's free. Everyone will get popcorn, a soda, and a gift bag, and we have some door prizes.
Awesome.
And you think
Roz,
we could possibly get
which theater is it? Is it Harbor Center or at the mall? Do you know?
Sorry, it is at the mall, Annapolis Mall. It is theater number 10 at Annapolis Mall. So if anyone wants to come walk up at 6:16, we'll start letting people in case anyone does not show up.
Okay.
I'll definitely be there waiting in line.
Awesome. Right. Hopefully someone won't show up and then we can get everyone in.
Shelley, did you have a question?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. All right, perfect. Okay. Now, old business. Krista asked that we add the Westgate Circle RFP to the agenda, and we have done so. So go ahead.
Thanks, everybody. I'll try to make this really short because it's been kind of a long meeting tonight. Over the last couple months with the different discussions about the RFQ for Westgate, one of the things that I'd like to propose is that we consider inviting back the 3 artists who were selected to do information gathering. They were validated, they were approved. The committee of which David was on, with other members that have since left the commission, did a lot of work. It was ethically done, and I know some people feel different things could have been done differently, etc. But we have 3 artists that are qualified, and I think that it would be very smart of us, no matter what we decide to do, I think it would be very smart of us to honor those 3 artists. We have one that pulled away. I don't know if they would consider this or not, but my proposal would be to have us as a commission listen to each one of their proposals and be able to ask questions, any questions that we would want to do or want to ask, and have them come and have one artist present over the next 3 months. Since next meeting is going to be a long meeting, it looks like we have these proposals that'll be coming. Perhaps we could then do 2 the following month. But the idea, initially, my idea was that we would have one artist in the next month. So March, April, and May, we would ask each, one artist to present. We could then ask any questions that we have and have it be, in essence, an information gathering if we wanted to. And then on the June meeting, depending on what else the chair might have on the agenda or any commissioners might have put on the agenda or forecasting for June, the June meeting could then be a meeting for a more deeper discussion as to what we want to do moving forward. I know we had a wonderful presentation tonight from Maryland. And so, I know different people on the commission, different commissioners respectfully have different ideas of what we should do moving forward. But again, this would be in support of those artists that worked very, very hard in submitting their proposals. Some have paid very close attention to the comments that were made, and some are taking that into consideration on what their proposal would look like. But they are qualified artists, and I do think that it would be very smart of us to bring them to our meeting and have a discussion and be able to do Q&A with them. We could certainly leave it to a certain time frame, Lynn, if you think that's appropriate, and commissioners, if you think that would be appropriate. But again, I think it would be smart of us to do that. So that would be my motion, my suggestion would be to honor them that way, and also have it be information gathering for us if they're willing to come back and have that opportunity in front of us, in front of our commission. So that would be for March, April, and May, and then discussion in June.
So Krista has made a motion that we invite the artists who submitted proposals or who were selected. They didn't submit proposals. I'm going to take that back.
They were selected as the qualified.
Hang on, let me. I'm going to state the motion, and then I think this is the motion, and we need a second. So Krista is proposing that we have the 3 artists that were designated to that were selected by the committee to as the 3 finalists. That's what I'll say.
Do you want me to do it?
As the 3 finalists. So Krista, is that correct?
Do you want me to redo the motion? You want me to make the motion?
Yes, go ahead and make the motion.
I make a motion for the committee for the artists that submitted the approved RFQ that were selected by the committee to come to our next meetings over the next 3 months, with one artist presenting each month.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a
David,
second?
do you have that?
Yes, I got you.
Is there a second? Barbara.
I would second this if this is for fact finding in terms of us going forward, not that this is an understanding that this is us reviewing them as potential finalists.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And so that's a good question, Barbara. Krista, what do you hope to achieve or have be the result of having people prepare a presentation and come and make a presentation? What's the purpose of it? What would we tell them they're presenting for?
No point to it.
The whole point would be, number one, to honor the work that they did in submitting for the committee to be the qualified artists. They are the actual qualified artists for our RFQ, right? So the idea would be that they would come forward to present their actual art, and for us to have the opportunity to be able to ask any questions. If somebody liked one of the works, they could, but they maybe didn't like something else about it, they could talk to them to see how flexible they might be with a change. It's to hear them out, to give them that opportunity that they never got to do. And also for us, for it to be fact-finding, as Barbara has stated.
Okay,
because
but
moving forward, we're going to have to.
What would the fact finding? What would we ask them for the fact finding? Because we are not going to make an award to any of.
Lynn, this would be up to the commissioners to ask whatever they want to ask. I don't know what they would ask. It would depend on what the presentation would be. I can't forecast that. I can't read commissioners' minds.
The commission voted to withdraw the RFQ, and it was.
And then we untabled it. We
No.
We voted to table it. We didn't vote, and then it became untabled.
Okay, it's not untabled. It is tabled. We said we would discuss it at another time, but the RFQ was withdrawn by the city procurement department. And so
that's not my understanding.
Yeah. Go ahead. Ashley, you have
at the last meeting, we untabled it.
You don't have to untable it. It's tabled, and that means that we would discuss it again. We don't have to untable it.
Well, if we're gonna, the idea, okay, Lynn, if you could hear me out, the idea is that we do discuss it again. And so this would be information gathering so that when it does come up again, when we decide to go forward, we have talked with the actual artists who were part of this RFQ.
Thank you. Okay. Ashley, you took your hand down. Do you have a comment?
Yeah. So tabling just means it's been paused with no definite action at this point. As far as I know, the city procurement office has not formally withdrawn the RFQ. They're waiting for further action from you from the tabling. So they're not proceeding with it, but I don't believe they actually took any formal action to withdraw or close it.
That was not my understanding, but I will talk with the procurement director.
I mean,
tomorrow.
I haven't seen anything. Usually he does a formal.
Right, but I know he was.
Are we getting an opinion from the law office?
Hang on a second. I believe he was posting something in the newspaper. I will check with him. I know he was sending a notice to the 3 finalists. And so I will check with him and see what has happened thus far. And I'll make sure that I report to the commission so that we are prepared to talk about this again. Joan, go ahead. Barbara, I guess my question is.
With that information and clarification.
Hang on.
Stop.
Krista, hang on. Barbara, you said you would second it. Is that a second?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to clarify. If this is just for fact finding, because I don't want these people to come under the impression that they're finalists, and that's my concern.
probably be an amended motion, by the way. You'd probably have to not second the current vote motion. Let that one vote and do what, or like if it doesn't
And
get
then-
seconded, pull it and then do an amended
Okay. All right.
motion.
So I withdraw my second, then thanks.
Okay, so the first, what you hadn't really seconded it, but so the first motion fails. It was moved but not seconded. Is that, and so okay. Period. Joan,
I have a question for Ashley. Could I ask her a question, please?
can you hang
I
on
was
just a
talked
second,
over
Krista?
while
You're
I
out
wanted
of
to get
order. You're out of order. We have two
Oh,
commissioners
God.
that have their hands up. So Joan, go ahead.
Yes, I really admire that Krista wants to honor those artists. Looking at it from a different perspective, maybe that would cause them even more work to something that they're, more investment into something that they may not get. And I just, for 2 cents, I thought maybe including them in the, whatever the next iteration is, maybe honor them by grandfathering them in, saying, look, you already were, this is only with me with partial information, but I'm thinking if there's a way to acknowledge their hard work without misleading them and having them do more work before we get all collected again. That's just my opinion.
Joan, just note that
Can
they
I
were
respond
each,
to that?
They were each paid $2,500. Go ahead, Krista.
Yeah, so I appreciate your comment, Joan, and I appreciate Barbara's interest in this as well. It was my understanding that the RFQ was valid, that they were selected as qualified artists. Their proposals were submitted, but their proposals were just that, they were proposals. But the artists themselves are qualified, and they were qualified under a valid RFQ that was paused. And that's my understanding from legal, that it was paused and we were to discuss it again tonight. I do believe that, I know one artist has already submitted and said they would love to come and be able to talk about their work. I know one artist had pulled out of the submissions. And so I don't know if he would come back. And then the other one, I haven't heard either way, whether or not they would come back or not. But the idea is that we have a paused RFQ that was valid and ethical. And we never gave these artists an opportunity to speak with us. So the idea of my motion would be to give them that opportunity if they so wish.
The motion died.
And knowing that we are paused in the decision-making, but also knowing that they were selected for the RFQ that is now paused, would they like to come and present? And
Okay,
that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. But the
It's
motion
not that
failed.
difficult.
The motion failed. So is there, I'm not sure we should continue this conversation unless there's going to be another motion.
Probably would be prudent that we don't, because if we do, I'm going to have a lot to say, and I think you don't want to hear it. But remember, we did pay them $2,500 each. One of them withdrew in protest. They really were unhappy and disappointed, and they totally withdrew. And the third one is, I think he was at some point, there was some question about whether he was actually qualified because he didn't meet the parameters of the original RFQ. And so we're going to end up basically having one person who is obviously upset that they didn't win. But, you know, the bottom line is the process was flawed in many respects, and we don't have the $300,000 to pay this vendor.
Right.
And I don't think we really want to put the money there. So the bottom line is we should move on. And when we have a new competition, there probably be they may be qualified, they may not be, but they may choose not to, or they may choose to enter that competition. And we will have a much better grasp on what we're doing when we collaborate with the public, with the arts community, with the neighboring associations around that circle and the people that are involved. And that was our mistake. We did not collaborate, and we compromised the committee, the selection committee, by reducing it from the original proposal of 7 members, 3 of whom were from Ward 1, and one of the Ward 1 seats was claimed by the chair who lived in Ward 1.
Okay, Jim.
And it
Okay,
got
okay,
really
okay.
messy, and I'm
Okay,
just
Jim,
thinking we
Jim,
should
I'm
let
gonna-
this go.
And can I just say
I'm gonna
one?
stop you there. I'm gonna stop you there. Go ahead,
Can I
Shelley.
just, okay, I just wanted to say that, and it has to do with what Jim's saying too, is that, you know, public opinion made it very clear they wanted this to be over. And I think, you know, it's a waste of time. It hurts them, hurts everyone to bring them back in. We need to start over. We need to think fresh. We need to rewrite, you know, how the proposal should be presented to us. And
Amen.
Okay, so if there's a motion, I will accept the motion. If there is not a motion, then we will go to open discussion of another subject. And then if there is no other open discussion of another subject, then we will adjourn for the evening. I will remind everybody, it is 9 o'clock, so.
I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
Okay, we don't need to do a roll. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
I
Hi,
Is it-
Joan Brady.
Aye.
Is there any opposition to adjourning?
You don't do that. It's if you have a majority, you just adjourn.
Good
We
night,
need to
everybody.
know if there, we
I
need to
hear you.
know.
I
I'm sorry, David, did you say something?
So good night.
Yes.